the streaming world of what he believes to be of quality. But there is, unseen by most, an episodic horror-based TV show. A show that still holds up. A show called Tales from the Darkside.
The Indians pray to them. Constellations were named after them. Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, Little Bear, Big Bear. Ursa Major is the darkest emblem of death. The Big Dipper scooping up the water of life and spilling it again. Ah, yes, Big Bear has the blackest magic.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Talks from the Darkside, the podcast where we talk about Tales from the Darkside, the 80s horror anthology television show created by George Romero and Richard Rubinstein. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Barr.
Today we're talking about Ursa Minor, written and directed by Ted Gershuny, with an original air date of December 1st, 1985.
So we've barely scratched the surface on the second season, but we're finally on the 10th episode.
I see what you did there.
Barely.
You're on to me like,
Flies on shit?
I was going to say Yogi Bear on a picnic basket, but yeah, sure, flies on shit works.
Bees on honey?
There you go, yeah.
It's like, hey guys, remember Child's Play?
Yeah.
Remember that shit? It was big in the 80s?
Yeah. Child's Play in a 22-minute version, I guess.
Child's Play comes out 2 years after this movie.
3 years.
3 years after this movie.
This predates Child's Play by 3 years.
Holy shit.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Someone's got some explaining to do.
Don, shame, I know your name.
There you go. It's a reversal on that one.
But yeah, right out of the gate here, I'm very excited to talk about this episode.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
I think it's a little constrained by the budget, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But before we do that, can we get the Fangoria synopsis, please?
So the synopsis from the Fangoria episode guide goes, a 7-year-old girl's beloved teddy bear has an evil will of its own. Starting with simple household mischief, the toy's exploits escalate into violence. It's nice and concise,
There
not
you go.
giving too much away.
Yeah, I don't think it gives much away.
I mean, we kind of did say in Child's Play.
Well, we did.
Whoops.
Not much really to give away,
Yeah.
though. I mean, much like some of these other episodes we've covered, I feel like they want the audience at least to know pretty early on what's happening, and it's the characters that don't know what's happening.
And the fun here in this episode, I think, is how it unravels.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So we open this up, and we get introduced to Marilyn Jones as Joan, and do you know who this is?
Oh, yeah. She was in, so she's in one of my favorite Monsters episode, Holly's House.
Holly's house.
We got to play a clip here.
Holly, maybe Mr. Mike would like a nice piece of birthday cake.
How about a nice piece of birthday cake? Honk. We'll get to
Doesn't
it.
make sense to anyone else, but it's a good episode, and she's a solid actress. I think she's
she's fine.
enough,
Yeah, she plays the dramatic angle pretty well. Timothy Carhart is also in this episode, okay?
He's the dad, right?
He's the dad, the drunk dad. He plays Richard.
He's Ellis DeWald, Beverly Hills Cop 3.
From Beverly Hills Cop. Hey, bad guy.
Yeah. Ellis DeWald.
Ellis. He's also a stiff.
On like X-Files or CSI or something?
No, he plays the violin. And he's trying to date Dana Barrett.
Oh, that guy with the nostrils? Oh my God,
who's
yeah.
a stiff?
I couldn't place that for the life of me. And I wore a Ghostbusters shirt in the last 2 episodes, and that went over my head.
This guy's like one of those guys.
Yeah, hope you feel better. You're still looking very pale, though.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
wow. That puts us into a different fucking perspective,
Yeah.
a different light.
So that's another Ghostbusters crossover from the Distant Signals episode, too.
Exactly.
Look at that.
They were getting the whole cast in there. They're all local.
So, yeah. So you have Joan and Richard, and Joan is going to school to be a teacher or something. She's getting her master's degree. And Richard is a drunk man baby who runs an antique shop.
Yeah,
I
it's like he
guess.
has like a wood shop and some secondhand store.
Yeah, or something. And like he has like a heavy drinking problem and like does not have a good grip on reality or supporting his family, but he is a good dad.
Well,
in terms of loving his child.
In between being
Sure.
passed out and drinking,
Yeah.
he does his best.
doesn't love her enough to remember her birthday is the day that is today, and is like, oh yeah, I'll get her a gift for her birthday. Yeah, it's today, asshole. Oh, well, I've been on a bender for a week. I forgot. Oops.
Oh, he didn't forget. He gave it to her the night before, but he forgot that he gave it to her.
Yes.
And this kind of raises a question too. It's
Yeah.
like, did he actually give it to her, or did this thing just show up?
It just showed up.
The house.
You think so?
That's kind of what I was looking
Yeah?
into. Yeah.
It showed up, especially based on the last 20 seconds of this episode. This fucking thing just meandered inside.
Well, you know what I think? I think Jamie from the pit fucking dropped off Teddy is what
Yeah,
I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Teddy. I'm going to fuck your life up.
Right before he went and jumped, got pushed into that fucking pit and eaten by those pit people.
Well, that he knew he knew he was going to certain doom, so he had to give Teddy to somebody he
Yeah.
trusted.
Needed a new home.
yeah. Fuck that person, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the scent on it. Forget about that. Don't sniff it.
Yeah. So we start off with, mom and her daughter, Susie. Like in the morning, it's her birthday. She's playing with her brand new teddy bear.
Hmm.
And mom goes to wake up dad, and he's all passed out in the bed.
Yeah.
Just has no idea what day it is. Like, doesn't know where he is.
He's hitting the fucking alarm clock. He's already eating like 5 aspirin as he's waking up. Like this is an everyday thing.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, sweetie, can you wake up, please? It's your daughter's birthday."
It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, right.
It's 3.
You missed lunch.
So this is where the trouble begins because he can't remember what he got her for her birthday, and she's like, "It's fuzzy," and he's like, "Oh my god, a puppy! I brought a fucking dog home when I was
yeah.
blackout drunk." And you hear a big crash in the other room, and he's like, "Oh, it must be a Great Dane," and it's just a little girl. And there's a flower pot smashed, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't break the vase, I swear." And mom's like, "Yeah, you totally did. If it wasn't you, then who was it?" Teddy did it.
And you're like, all right. It's like this girl's just like blaming the bear for, breaking something.
Yeah.
And also it's like,
Blames the bear for pushing her aunt out the window.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thing to note here is like, there's like through the episode, it starts here. There's like this high pitched sound.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
okay.
whole
yeah.
thing. It's like every now and then it's just this weird, like high pitch.
Okay.
When it's like, maybe it's like a foreboding,
What are they called?
It's like a rising tension kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but
almost.
there's like an
Stinger?
audio. No, not a stinger, but there's like an audio thing to like make you anxious when you watch stuff. I forget what
Like
it's
there's
called.
a term for that, right?
Yeah, I forget what
We'll put
the
it
term
here.
is. Yeah, audio.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable
Yeah.
audio.
But like as the episode goes on, obviously things escalate much like Chucky, even though, like you said, 2 years later, but 3 years later. But yeah, like stuff like, oh, there's paw prints on the wall in paint, and it's like, oh, Teddy did it.
Yeah, are you sure that wasn't Fred Savage and Howie Mandel
Little
doing
Monsters.
this?
Yeah, well, right, yeah.
There's paw prints in honey on the wall. Yeah.
They got it from Billy Zane, the honey from
Oh,
Red Clover.
yeah, there you
he
go.
pointed it out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not syrup, it's honey. Look,
There you go.
pointed on the wall. Go check out our Red Clover review.
So Teddy's doing these things, and the little girl keeps blaming the bear.
Right.
And mom's like, I'm sick and tired of this shit. You got to stop being bad and blah, blah, blah. And dad always defends the little girl like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'll clean it up
Gives her a
later."
little wink. It's like,
Yeah.
I'll clean it up. Don't worry about
It's all right, sweetheart. You can just keep being bad and doing...
it. Yeah, just keep blaming the Teddy.
Like,
for
keep
acting
blaming-
out.
World's
Yeah.
best co-parenting,
Yeah,
obviously.
seriously.
Yeah, mom's getting fed up and he doesn't care.
This good cop, bad cop shit.
Yeah.
Mom fucking snaps at one point. Like, I forget if it's the paw prints on the wall or something like more egregious, like something else got broken. And she looks like she's about to like fucking snap her kid's neck. She's like, it's not Teddy, god damn it. And dad's like, whoa, all right, it's okay, honey, calm down.
Well, she's getting fed up that her daughter's lying to her.
Well, of course.
And then not atoning for what she's done.
And constantly blaming the little doll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I listen, I get it. It's just, you're literally watching this woman unravel.
Yeah, well, she has a drunk for her husband. She's
Right.
literally supporting the whole household herself.
Yeah.
The kid doesn't listen to her. The kid's fucking lying
Yeah.
to her.
Which when you also
Or is she?
reiterate that, yeah, the dad is a drunk, and like she gets unhinged for a second, and he's trying to tell her to calm down. Like, buddy,
Yeah.
man, look in the mirror there, pal.
Yeah.
But okay.
There's one night he's passed on the couch, like just completely passed out. Cigarette on his stomach. and
Oh,
just
yeah.
He
passed
fucking
out.
he Uncle Gary Busey's that
Yep.
cigarette,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Yeah, and she wakes him up and he's like, "Oh, it wasn't me. Teddy did it."
Yeah.
Like he's in on the joke now.
But
It's
he's like digging on his wife.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro.
Yeah.
And the minute she like, so there's another scene too, like a little bit later after that, where she takes their daughter into like the garage or the whatever it is, because he sells secondhand shit. So he has a bearskin rug, and he's like, "Look, honey, it's a bearskin rug. Like it's not real. It was real at one time, but now it's dead."
yeah, don't put your fingers in its mouth or it'll bite you.
Spooky.
Yeah, that was cute.
And she says something weird here, Susie.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, if it used to be real, or what was it? It's like if it's real,
Why isn't it?
why isn't it trying to eat us?"
He's like,
Right.
"Because it's a rug.
And it's
Rugs
like,
don't
that's
hurt.
weird. It's
Rugs
where
don't
did
eat
she
people."
get that from? You know?
Well, that's what. And then she says like, "Oh, well, Teddy's real."
Yeah.
And it's like,
Is
bro.
Teddy trying to eat you?
Yeah.
or something.
Well, I think where she gets that from, Chris, is like, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears
Yeah.
story, which they kind of bring,
Yeah,
weave
they're
into
reading
this
that before,
story.
yeah.
So he's drunk off his ass, and Joan is like, "You need to stop feeding our daughter this bullshit and punish her for doing the stuff that she's doing. And also, like, you need to stop getting fucking drunk all the time."
Yeah.
And
She's had it.
She's had it, dude. And she's like, I gotta go to school and get my fucking master's. And he's like, "Oh yeah, go to big school and get your master's." And she's like, "Yeah, because we got fucking bills to pay."
And just cutting random chunks of wood off the basement.
Yeah,
What
what
is
is
he-
he? What is he
you're not doing
repurposing
anything.
that for? He's making Rumpelstiltskin
Yeah.
statues.
Who the fuck knows?
Either way, he cuts his leg open.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's like arguing with her while he's doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So he cuts himself. He ends up like she ends up like taken to the hospital because he has like it gets infected. But she's going to this school, and she gets this like historian on magic and the occult
Right.
to come over to the house and like talk to her about
This
what's
professor.
happening.
Yeah, this gets like a little weird. It's like it goes into like the lore of bears.
It gets weird, but it's like completely unprompted because
Mhm.
she's a practical woman and a rational woman. So why would she ask this guy to come over?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
True.
To inspect the teddy bear.
Yeah, because at this point things are getting out of hand. It's like she's tried to take the doll away. Also, there's like a growling sound
Yes.
at one point when it's like doesn't like what she's doing to it.
Yeah.
It's like just
It's weird.
growling at her.
But like when this professor's kind of rattling off the like, the textbook information, he explains like what Ursa means and all that, and Ursa Minor, Ursa Major.
Well,
It's a plot dump that is relevant to mostly the end of the episode, but just to kind of get you to understand kind of maybe what's happening with this bear doll.
I'm always okay with that, especially when it's like a historian of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's like a history professor who studies like ancient magic and the occult and stuff like that. So he's like, oh yeah, bears, especially in Native American culture, were seen as like harbingers of doom and like surrounded by black magic and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And he's like, even the constellations, because they're great and powerful magicians, question mark. Or some, like you said, Ursa Minor, Ursa Major.
I mean, those rune bears in Elden Ring. I don't want to fuck with those things. They're turned into dragons or something.
And then he says Ursa Major is the one who has like the darkest magic or whatever.
Yeah, the big bear has the darkest magic.
Right.
So, but this bear, the name of the episode is Ursa Minor.
Yeah. So I
So it's
wouldn't
a
want to
smaller
see
version.
major.
Yeah,
Well,
that's fucking Demon Bear
that's
from
a sequel.
yeah, that's Demon Bear from the New Mutants.
Yeah.
Wow, right. Wow. They literally basically imply or might even say straight up that, this is the Ursa Minor.
Yeah, there's some leftover magic from
Ursa
how
Major,
deep in myth
yeah.
the bears were.
Yeah.
And it's like a nice little like plot point here
I
because
think
it's
it's
like
cool.
you bring in like a historian
He's
and
also
it's like make it believable enough where it's like, oh cool, this is a fun little story you're
Oh
telling.
yeah.
It's just like elves.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
When,
It's
when
like,
Dan
yeah.
Haggerty goes to see the guy in the library.
Yeah,
You know
make it
he's-
believable enough. It's like I'm along for the
Yeah,
ride.
dude, I love it.
Yeah, when Haggerty's talking to the guy trying to cut his fucking Christmas turkey.
Oh yeah, but even in the library.
Yeah.
And it's like also too, it's like it's done in a way where it's not ham-fisted at all.
No.
No.
And it's like a very like it's very believable.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting too. This professor's like poking and prodding this toy, like trying to figure out what the hell is this made out of. And he's like, interesting, very interesting. And then they come up with this like kind of plan based on, the mom comes up with this plan based off what the professor's saying. It's like, maybe switch it out with a different doll or something. And says she buys this Goldilocks doll.
He just says to her, he's like, if it freaks you out and it's causing trouble, just fucking throw it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut up.
Get something a little more basic and normal.
Yeah, he's like, switch it out and don't say a word.
Yeah, Tiny Tina to this bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Throw it in the bottom of the garbage.
She replaces it with Tiny Tina.
Right?
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
that's what he said. It's something harmless and without magic.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like this, like when he's like poking and prodding things, this puppet, is he seeing like magic burst off it and he's keeping that to himself?
Right.
Huh, magic. Huh.
Things go like way south because in the middle of the night Joan wakes up and smells smoke, and she runs into the kitchen and the little girl's making porridge, and it's like all spilled all over the fucking counter and shit.
Yeah.
She's
Right
like,
at a Goldilocks.
What the fuck are you doing? And she's like, making porridge. Teddy did it.
Teddy wanted porridge.
Teddy wanted porridge.
Teddy's hungry.
Yeah, and then I think that's maybe when either she
This-
switches it out or that's when he gets thrown in the trash.
This is all before the expert comes.
Oh,
in.
it is? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then she throws him out, and
Yeah, she like dumps him in the bottom of the garbage can. I don't know why she takes the bag out, puts the bear in, then the bag back in.
Extra weight.
Yeah.
Again, she saw what happened in Tiny Tina. He put that brick on top of the can, didn't work, so just a shit ton of crap in a bag.
Oh yeah. Well, also Child's Play 2 ripped that one off. too.
I think anything with a possessed doll has ripped it off.
so so the mom tries throwing Teddy out onto the garbage bag, just kind of tucks him away.
Yeah.
Tries to hide it from Susie, and she goes back in and she talking to her about her father. She's like, "Oh, Dad's in the hospital. He'll be better. He'll be better soon." But she's worried about Teddy instead. She's like, "Okay, but when's Teddy coming back?"
Yeah.
Doesn't give a shit about Dad.
No. And she's like, well, he went back to the forest and he gave you Goldilocks. She's like, I don't give a shit. I don't want
Goldilocks. I
Yeah.
want Teddy.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's a couple scenes where, like, shit is getting thrown around and, like, the parents come in after the damage is done. And, like,
Oh, just the mom.
well, right. It's always
Yeah.
the mom. The dad's too fucking smashed to come in and say anything. But there's, like, it's either when they swap the dolls or, like, right before that. It's almost like similar to the previous episode with this Exorcist shit where it's, like, all the stuff in the room's thrown all over the place and mom comes in and is like, what the hell happened here?
Well, no,
And she's like, Teddy destroyed everything.
she's sleeping in the bed. Dad's in the hospital.
At
this
the
is-
time, yeah.
So this is the night, like, that all the shit goes down.
Right.
Teddy's pissed off.
Oh yeah.
And he throws all the shit around. There's a big noise, and she runs in there. She's like, what the fuck's going on? And she's like, it's Teddy. Teddy threw everything all over the room.
Her room's a mess.
Yeah,
There's
Right.
shit all over the place.
All over the place. So Joan freaks out and runs into the garage, and the fucking dumpster's like tipped over
Oh,
the garbage can, and shit's all over the place.
Yeah,
She's like,
garbage all
"Oh
over the
my
garage."
God!"
Well, and the Goldilocks doll, too, by the way, looks like a literal bear attacked it.
Oh, it's torn to shit.
the hair's
Yeah,
all
all
fucked
ripped
up.
apart. The face is all mangled.
She's like, why
So-
would you do this? It was Teddy.
Yeah. So she comes running back into Susie's room. Teddy's on the edge of the bed, glowing eyes.
Walking
Yeah.
towards her.
Yeah, still all like this little bear doll.
That's what I'm saying. Jamie
Yeah.
gave her that bear.
Yeah.
They do tease that one time earlier for like a quick second when one of them's holding the bear. I don't know if it's the little girl and the mom. Like for a second, you see the red eyes, and then
Yeah,
like,
right when it's on the edge of the bed coming
Right.
after her.
Yeah.
This is creepy.
It is creepy.
I do kind of hate how it just kind of wraps the fuck up, but they milked this as long as they could up until like the 20-minute mark. So
Well, the way it wraps up, and is like, plus it's like, the way as the episode goes along, the suspense here we have of like, oh, is the girl telling the truth, or is like this doll like, the stuffed animal, trouble.
Or she acting out because her
Right.
dad sucks and there's problems at home.
Yeah. And it's like the more fun it goes, it's like, all right, now let's see what's gonna happen with Teddy.
So she takes the teddy bear, rips it off the fucking bed, and she's stabbing the shit out of it with a pair of scissors. And the little girl's like, "Oh my god, not Teddy!" She ends up like stabbing it up and like pulling the Goldilocks hair out of its
In
belly.
its stomach.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like that's
but that's
creepy.
fucking creepy. But then I guess by doing that, she releases the spirit of the bear,
Or it's coming back for its cub, one or the other.
or maybe that's Ursa Major.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought it was.
Oh.
That was the way I read it because they make such a big deal out of that in the previous scene.
So we get a lot of like I don't know, bear spirit vision like going
Yeah,
around the
POV
house.
through the house
Yeah.
shows like the porridge on the table.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
all these bear rumblings and growls.
Man, she's holding her kid and they're against the wall, and this fucking giant bear paw punches through the door and like scratches the
Just
wall.
deep cut in the wall.
Yeah, it's scary.
And then just ends on them like screaming in terror. Credits.
Like those,
They're
got-
dead.
They got fucking E10.
Yeah, eviscerated. This is
Yeah.
some cocaine bear shit.
Yeah, dude comes back. Well, that's the thing, right? Dad comes back from the hospital, and then he gets blamed for like
Yeah.
murdering his wife and child because he
And
was
then
a crazy
he's
drunk.
he's getting interrogated. Teddy did it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's in a straitjacket. Teddy did it.
Meanwhile, there's obvious claw marks all over the place,
Yeah.
but it's the dad.
I don't know. He used it like a rake or something to kill him.
Yeah. Big brown snake or something.
Big brown bear.
Yeah.
So what do we think of this episode?
I think this is one of the best episodes of the series.
Yeah?
I really like this kind of truncated Child's Play, even though, as I found out myself, came after this, but just the killer doll thing that's been done 100 times up until that point. But I thought it was a unique way to do it with the bear, and kind of, again, is that the spirit? Is that Mama Bear coming back? It's probably the spirit, realistically. Yeah. But just that final, like, minute where you're just like, okay, well, that kind of just ended anticlimactically with her stabbing it with the scissors, but sure. And then this fucking hulking motherfucker comes in and they're dead. You don't even need to see it. It just cut the credits. Good night. It's really good. The tension you could literally cut with a knife, and just the lighting is incredible in this episode. They really lean into like making everything very dark, but light it in a way where you can still see everything, which, I mean, maybe goes without saying, but it's accomplished really well in this, especially for this show. I feel like sometimes it has stumbled at that in the past. Snip Snip comes to mind in particular, where it's like there's that final confrontation in the dark where you can make it out, but it's like, it's a little muddy. This, exactly what's happening throughout, and it's creepy. Maybe not one of the, I'm saying it's one of the best ones of the series so far, but even still, I could probably name 5 other episodes that I prefer over it. But going off season 2, it's definitely at the top few that we've seen so far. So we're 10 in, and I think I've only said that about a handful so far, which, isn't, a kiss of death by anything. We got a ways to go still, but it's nice to see something that's just honestly pure horror from beginning to end, psychological throughout most of it. But, yeah, I like this one a lot. And again, just that POV bear shit at the end is just, talk about creepy. That really just kind of sends it over the edge. Like, yeah, you're not getting out of this alive, mom and daughter.
Yeah, I love this episode. It's great. It's a fun ride. There's a level of suspense we get here that we don't usually see in the series. That's just like this nice little ride through the episode where there's like this nice tension, and it's a nice dramatic pause, until we get to the end where just all hell breaks loose. And it's awesome. Once we get that bear through the door, it's like, oh, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
So I like this one a lot, but when you get that bear through the door, I want to see the rest of the fucking bear.
They can only afford the arm.
I know, so I think they do a really good job in this episode of building up that tension, like you guys both said. The thing is with me with this, like, it's really good for a television show, but things that have come after it have done it better.
Sure.
And I think I'm like a little caught up with that, even though I do love this episode. I feel like the budget, like there was more of a budget for The Trouble with Mary Jane than there was for this, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
because it's like, this is the one that you want to throw a couple bucks at. Yeah. Let's get a good Teddy doll, and like let's make, like, when I think of a great scary Teddy, I always think of Demonic Toys.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best ones.
That fucking thing is terrifying. Yep. The John Carl Buechler creation, and it's like, imagine if that was in this episode.
And they can only afford one bear arm.
Yeah, right.
It's like, how about 2? How about maybe, or just give us a head?
Right.
Yeah.
Or a little something a little extra, because I would have liked to see the daughter and the mom get away from it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like have to dodge it a little bit.
Yeah.
Before that end scene where it's just like, oh, well, that's it. It's over.
It's like we get to the top of the roller coaster, and like,
we're about to go, and we're like,
and
then it stops.
Yeah.
But that is a very Tales ending, even though it's definitely bleaker than some Tales endings, for sure.
It is not a happy ending.
No, but the fact that it comes in literally in the final 60 seconds, that's very common on this show.
Yeah, it's definitely punchy. And again, like, I don't want to take anything away from it because it is what it is, but I don't know. And like Chris said too, like, I really like whenever like the historian shows up to give you the plot dump of like some kind of magic or occult thing tied to an object or a person or whatever it may be. I always love that.
Yeah.
It's always fun. And I think that comes back to like our love for like Lovecraft stuff, where there's a lot of that going on with like the ingots and all that kind of shit. And again, like possessed mirrors or it could be anything.
Yeah.
That's really,
it's like that idea of something being so deep rooted in mythology.
Yeah.
There's more to it than you know.
And something that looks innocent is actually deceivingly evil.
Yeah.
And also, of course, you have that other extra layer of toys coming to life, which is also scares the shit out of me. I mean, if this fucking thing was walking around on my bed and growling at me, I would have shit my pants.
Wow, yeah.
In a different universe where this may have been a pilot or something, we would have eventually got, probably like the late 90s or early, aughts or whatever. We would have had an Ursa Minor versus Chucky crossover.
Oh, God. Also, like, this is, I know we talk about this a lot. when it comes to old stuff and like what we would do if we had a chance to like remake something.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great. Oh yeah, Sean said something great before that like this is such a unique idea. Even though it's the same thing we've seen, it's a unique twist, especially with like a bear spirit,
Yeah.
like bear magic, dark bear magic.
We haven't seen that a lot.
No, very very
Yeah.
few things.
I mean, I know we didn't really talk about it, but like it would have been interesting, or maybe interesting is the wrong word, but it would have been nice to see if they're going to play on this Native American spirit, maybe actually have a Native American in this. But I guess that's not really the point of the episode.
No, and it's not.
That's my only real nitpick, I guess.
Well, because it's just the Native American like legend.
No, yeah. Absolutely. That might be something if you were to remake it, you might like add something like that in there to kind of just make it more authentic. I
if you were to blow it out, have somebody come in like Poltergeist 2, like a Native American guy to like stop the curse. Like that's the only way to like contain it or
shaman
whatever.
of some kind.
Yeah. But like I was saying, like this would be a fun one to be like if Tales from the Darkside got a revival.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, hey, we know you guys love Tales from the Darkside. What do you want to do? Like, I feel like Ursa Minor is in those top 3 to
absolutely
just to kind of redo or bring back and mix it up with some news stories, if that makes sense. Like that would be a super fun one to tackle.
There's a lot of like, there's a great story here.
Yeah.
And some great mythology to dive into and to flesh out.
Yeah, and you could definitely do some like Child's Play or Pinocchio's Revenge-esque stuff if you did blow it out more. Just that whole idea of, is it real? Is it the kid? Again, you might just jump to that conclusion instantly that it's alive, like I did, but you don't really know until the last couple minutes. So you could play that many different ways.
Keeps you guessing.
Yeah.
And so with Child's Play in mind, it's like, I'm going to say something that's this is going to be a hot topic, very controversial, whatever.
Hot take?
I would rather see a full length of this than Child's Play.
Okay.
And that's just me.
Okay.
I mean, there might be people who love Chucky, whatever. That's not my thing. But
I mean,
sure. I mean, I love the first Child's Play, and like, 2 and 3 are good for different reasons. I mean, 3, you definitely start to lose some of the magic, but I don't agree with you, but I can't disagree that it would be cool to see a feature-length version of this, or even an hour version.
Giant, angry, 10-foot bear spirit.
Bear monster, like something from Dolls, you know,
right.
like when she has the when Teddy turns into that fucking monster bear, like
there
that
you go.
That
There's your
crazy.
movie. Yeah.
Can't deny it's a good idea, but I still like Child's Play.
Yeah.
Maybe what it's turned into less so, but yeah.
Right.
Oh well, big time agree on that one. So yeah, that's Ursa Minor, and let us know what you think about this episode, or if you've seen the actual Tales from the Darkside episode, let us know in the comments. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends if you're digging it, and if you haven't already yet, please subscribe. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, do us a favor, leave a 5-star review if you're digging the show, because it helps us get the word out to more listeners, and we'd really appreciate it. So until next time, I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Barr.
Tales from the Darkside is always there, waiting for us to watch it, waiting for us to hit play. Until next time, try to find it on DVD and watch along with us.